Darkness blankets the city as neon lights flicker across the wet pavement. The streets are alive with movement, cars honking, people rushing, conversations blending into an urban symphony. Among the sea of strangers, one man sits quietly on the cold ground, pulling his tattered coat tightly around himself. Narrator. In a world where people rush past each other without a second glance, how often do we stop to see the ones who go unnoticed? What if the smallest act of kindness from the most unexpected person became the turning point of a lifetime? As the camera zooms in, we see Ryan, a man in his late 40s, his face weathered by hardship. His eyes, tired but kind, scan the streets. A cardboard sign rests beside him. Just trying to get by. Anything helps. Narrator. Ryan wasn't always homeless. Once he had a home, a job, a life filled with plans. But fate is cruel, and when misfortune strikes, it doesn't always knock. It just takes everything away. Just across the street, we see Daniel Carter, a wealthy tourist in his early 30s, dressed in a tailored coat, talking on his phone while pulling his expensive suitcase behind him. He looks distracted, unaware that his life is about to change forever. Daniel enters a small cafe, ordering a coffee. As he sets his wallet on the counter, he doesn't notice a shadowy figure eyeing him from behind, a pickpocket lurking in the crowd. As Daniel exits the cafe, scrolling through his phone, the thief makes his move, bumping into Daniel and swiftly snatching his wallet. Without hesitation, the thief dashes into a nearby alley. Ryan, observing from his usual spot on the sidewalk, sees everything. Without thinking, he gets up and chases after the thief. His ragged shoes barely keep up, but he pushes forward. The alley is dark, but Ryan knows these streets better than anyone. He cuts through a side passage and surprises the thief, tackling him to the ground. Ryan, breathing heavily. Not today, kid. Give it back. The young thief hesitates, but, seeing Ryan's determined eyes, he tosses the wallet to the ground and flees. Ryan picks up the wallet, walking back toward the cafe, where Daniel stands frantically searching his pockets. Ryan holding out the wallet. You dropped something. Daniel, stunned, takes his wallet, eyes widening as he realizes what just happened. Daniel. Wait, you got this back for me? Ryan simply nods, already stepping away. Daniel. Hey, wait. At least let me thank you. Ryan waves a hand dismissively, disappearing into the crowd. Narrator. A simple act. A moment easily forgotten. Or so Ryan thought. But fate had already set something extraordinary in motion. Daniel stands frozen, staring at his wallet. He flips it open, his cash, credit cards, and ID are all still there. He looks around, trying to spot Ryan, but the man has already blended into the crowd. With a sigh of relief, Daniel tucks his wallet into his coat pocket and walks back toward his hotel. Narrator. Daniel Carter was no ordinary tourist. He was a self-made entrepreneur, the CEO of a successful tech company, and a man used to having the world at his feet. He had flown in for a high-profile business meeting, expecting another routine trip, fine dining, luxury hotels, and back-to-back calls with investors. What he hadn't expected was to be saved by a homeless man. Cut to inside Daniel's 5-star hotel suite. The city skyline glows through the massive windows as he sits on the couch, deep in thought. His mind keeps replaying the scene in the alley, the homeless man chasing the thief, the determination in his eyes, the quiet dignity in his voice. Daniel picks up his phone, scrolling through his contacts. He starts typing a message to his assistant. Daniel, muttering to himself. Find out who he is. But then he hesitates. Would it even be possible? The man had vanished into the crowd as quickly as he appeared. With a frustrated sigh, Daniel deletes the message and tosses his phone aside. Cut to a dark underpass near the city outskirts. A makeshift shelter made of cardboard and old blankets sits against the concrete wall. Ryan settles in for the night, pulling a thin blanket over himself as the cold wind howls through the tunnel. Narrator. Ryan had once been just like Daniel, successful, driven, with a future full of promise. He had a job, a family, a home. But life doesn't always go as planned. Flashback sequence begins several years earlier. Ryan, clean-shaven and wearing a suit, sits in an office, working on a computer. He glances at a framed photo of his wife and daughter on his desk, smiling to himself. Narrator. A devoted husband and father, Ryan worked tirelessly to provide for his family. But one fateful decision cost him everything. Cut to Ryan standing outside his office building, holding a termination letter. His boss's voice echoes in his head. Boss, VO. I'm sorry, Ryan. The company's downsizing. There's nothing we can do. Ryan stares at the letter in disbelief. His entire world crumbles in an instant. Flashback cuts to bills piling up on the kitchen table, his wife pacing the living room, stress evident on her face. Wife. We can't keep going like this, Ryan. The mortgage, the debts, what are we going to do? Ryan, desperate, takes odd jobs, construction, delivery, even street vending. But nothing is enough. One by one, the bills go unpaid. The eviction notice arrives. His wife, unable to take the pressure, leaves with their daughter. Narrator. In a matter of months, Ryan lost everything. His job, his home, his family. With nowhere to turn, the streets became his only refuge. Flashback ends. Cut back to present. Ryan, now older, lying under the underpass, staring at the stars. He exhales deeply, his breath visible in the cold air. His stomach growls, but he ignores it. Sleep eventually takes over. The next morning, Ryan wakes up to the distant sound of city traffic. He stretches, rubbing his stiff neck. With practiced movements, he folds his blanket and tucks it away. He walks toward a small soup kitchen, hoping for a meal. As he reaches the soup kitchen, he spots a commotion nearby, a man in a suit standing outside, speaking to some locals. Ryan doesn't pay much attention until he hears a familiar voice. Daniel, to a street vendor. I'm looking for someone. A man, late 40s, scruffy beard, kind of tall. He helped me yesterday when my wallet was stolen. Ryan freezes, his heartbeat quickening. Narrator. Fate was about to intervene once again. Ryan ducks his head, debating whether to approach Daniel or slip away unnoticed. He isn't used to being noticed, let alone searched for. But something about the sincerity in Daniel's voice makes him pause. Daniel turns to a group of volunteers handing out food at the soup kitchen. He pulls out a crisp bill and offers it to one of them. Daniel. I'll donate double if you can help me find him. One of the volunteers glances at Ryan, recognition flickering in their eyes. Volunteer, nodding toward Ryan. That sounds like the man you're looking for. Daniel follows the volunteer's gaze and locks eyes with Ryan. For a brief moment, neither of them moves. Daniel steps forward, his expensive shoes crunching against the pavement. Daniel. Hey, I've been looking for you. Ryan hesitates but eventually nods, his expression unreadable. Ryan. I figured as much. Daniel gestures toward the soup kitchen. Daniel. Can I buy you a meal? Sit down and talk. Ryan studies him for a moment before shrugging. Ryan. I won't say no to a hot meal. Cut to inside the soup kitchen. Ryan and Daniel sit at a corner table, trays of food in front of them. Ryan eats quickly, used to savoring every bite, while Daniel watches him curiously. Daniel. Why did you help me yesterday? Ryan wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, thinking. Ryan. Why wouldn't I? Just because I live on the streets doesn't mean I don't know right from wrong. Daniel nods, impressed by his straightforwardness. Daniel. Most people wouldn't have bothered. You could have ignored the thief, but you didn't. Ryan smirks. Ryan. Let's just say I know what it's like to have something taken from you. Daniel leans forward. Daniel. What happened to you? Ryan hesitates. He hasn't talked about his past in a long time. But something about Daniel's curiosity feels different. So, for the first time in years, he opens up. Flashback begins. Ryan, standing outside his foreclosed home, a duffel bag slung over his shoulder, his daughter's favorite stuffed animal peeking out of the top. His wife watches from the doorway, her expression filled with sorrow. Wife, softly. I can't do this anymore, Ryan. Ryan clenches his jaw, swallowing back emotions. He nods and walks away, never looking back. Flashback ends. Back to present. Ryan. I had it all once. A family. A home. A career. But life has a way of humbling you when you least expect it. Daniel listens intently, absorbing every word. Daniel, you're not just some guy on the streets. You had a life before this. Ryan chuckles, shaking his head. Ryan, everyone out here has a story. Mine's just another one lost in the noise. Daniel thinks for a moment, then reaches into his pocket and pulls out a business card. Daniel, come to this address tomorrow morning. I think I can help you. Ryan frowns, looking at the card without taking it. Ryan, help me how? Daniel, smiling slightly. Just show up and find out. For the first time in a long time, Ryan feels something unfamiliar, hope. The next morning, Ryan stands outside a sleek glass building, clutching the business card Daniel gave him. He shifts his weight from foot to foot, debating whether he should turn around. This place, with its polished doors and well-dressed employees passing by, feels like a different world, one he no longer belongs to. He exhales sharply and steps inside. Int. Corporate office, reception area, day. A receptionist greets him with a polite but curious expression. Ryan, dressed in his worn-out jacket and faded jeans, stands out among the suited professionals. Receptionist. Can I help you, sir? Ryan clears his throat, feeling self-conscious. Ryan. Yeah. Daniel Cross told me to come here. The receptionist's eyebrows raise slightly before she types something into her computer. Receptionist. Mr. Cross is expecting you. Take the elevator to the top floor. Ryan nods stiffly and steps toward the elevator. As the doors close behind him, he exhales, feeling like he's stepping into unfamiliar territory. Cut to Daniel's office, day. Daniel sits at his expansive desk, flipping through papers. When Ryan enters, Daniel stands and greets him with a smile. Daniel, glad you came. Ryan looks around, taking in the luxurious space. Ryan, can't say I expected this. What exactly do you do? Daniel, chuckling. I own several companies. Real estate, hospitality, and a few other ventures. Ryan raises an eyebrow, impressed but trying not to show it. Ryan, and you're spending your time helping some homeless guy you met on the street? Daniel's expression turns serious. Daniel, you're not just some homeless guy, Ryan. You helped me when you didn't have to. Now, I want to return the favor. Ryan crosses his arms. Ryan, and how exactly do you plan on doing that? Daniel gestures for Ryan to sit as he leans forward. Daniel, I looked into you. Before you lost everything, you were an accountant, right? Ryan stiffens. Ryan, yeah, a long time ago. Daniel, and from what I found, you were damn good at it. Ryan lets out a bitter chuckle. Ryan, doesn't matter now, does it? No one hires someone who's been living on the streets for years. Daniel slides a folder across the desk. Daniel, they do if I recommend them. Ryan hesitates before slowly opening the folder. Inside is a job offer, an entry-level accounting position at one of Daniel's firms, complete with a fair salary and housing assistance. Ryan's hands tremble slightly as he reads it. Ryan, this is real. Daniel, smiling. It is if you want it. Ryan swallows hard. He wants to believe it's real, but a part of him fears it's too good to be true. Ryan, why are you doing this? Daniel, leaning back. Because I know what it's like to be down and out. I didn't grow up rich, Ryan. Someone once gave me a chance when I had nothing. Now, I'm just passing it forward. Ryan stares at the offer, a whirlwind of emotions running through him. He could have a second chance. A real one. But then doubt creeps in. Ryan, what if I fail? Daniel leans forward, his voice steady. Daniel, then you pick yourself back up. No one expects you to be perfect, Ryan. Just don't give up before you even start. Ryan looks down at the paper again. His entire life has been about survival. But now, for the first time in years, he has the chance to live again. He looks up at Daniel and nods. Ryan. All right. I'm in. Daniel grins and extends his hand. Ryan takes it, sealing the deal. As Ryan leaves the office, He clutches the folder like it's the most precious thing in the world. Because to him, it is. Over the next few weeks, Ryan begins his new job. At first, it's overwhelming. Sitting in an office again, surrounded by professionals who have never known the kind of struggle he has, makes him feel like an outsider. But he reminds himself of Daniel's words, "No one expects you to be perfect. Just don't give up before you even start."
Int.
Office. First day. Ryan sits at his desk, staring at the screen. Numbers and spreadsheets fill the monitor, but after years of being out of the workforce, it feels like trying to read a foreign language. His supervisor, Mark, walks by and notices Ryan's hesitation. "Mark, need help with something?" Ryan hesitates. His pride tells him to figure it out himself, but he knows this isn't the time for ego. "Ryan, yeah, actually, it's been a while since I worked in accounting. I might need a little time to get up to speed." Mark nods, surprisingly understanding. "Mark, that's all right. Everyone has a learning curve. Let me show you how we do things here." Over the next few hours, Mark patiently guides Ryan through the company's software and systems. Ryan soaks in everything, determined to prove that he belongs here. But the real challenge comes when he faces his own doubts. Ryan's staying late at the office, scribbling notes as he tries to refresh his accounting knowledge. Ryan messing up a financial report, only for Mark to calmly help him fix it. Ryan staring at his reflection in the office bathroom mirror, whispering to himself, "You can do this." Ryan finally submitting a report on time, receiving a nod of approval from Mark. Slowly, Ryan starts to regain confidence. The knowledge he thought he had lost comes back to him. He works harder than anyone else, determined not to waste the opportunity Daniel gave him. Ryan unlocks the door to a modest but clean apartment. It's nothing fancy, but it's his. For the first time in years, he doesn't have to sleep in a shelter or on a park bench. He steps inside, dropping his bag on the couch and exhaling deeply. The silence is almost overwhelming. No street noise, no people shuffling around in the shelter, just peace. He runs a hand through his hair, feeling the weight of everything that has happened. From being homeless to working in an office again to having a place to call his own. It almost doesn't feel real. Then his phone buzzes. A message from Daniel. Envelope with arrow. "Daniel, proud of you. Keep going." Ryan smiles, a rare, genuine smile. Because for the first time in a long, long time, he actually believes he can make it.
Int.
Office. Several months later. Ryan sits at his desk, reviewing financial reports with ease. The once overwhelming numbers now make sense to him. He's no longer the struggling newcomer. He's confident, respected, and proving his worth every single day. His supervisor, Mark, walks by and stops at his desk. "Mark, you've been doing great, Ryan. The higher-ups have noticed your dedication." Ryan looks up, surprised. "Ryan, really?"
Mark. "Yeah."
"There's talk of a promotion. Keep up the hard work." As Mark walks away, Ryan leans back in his chair, absorbing the moment. A promotion? Just months ago, he was sleeping on a park bench. Now, he's climbing the corporate ladder again. He exhales, a slow smile forming. He made it. Ryan walks through the park where he once slept. He stops at the same bench where Daniel had first found him. It feels like a lifetime ago. He watches as a homeless man, Kevin, sits hunched over, shivering in the cold. Ryan doesn't hesitate. He walks over and sits beside him. "Ryan, rough night." At first, Kevin doesn't respond. But then he glances up, his eyes filled with the same hopelessness Ryan once had.
"Kevin."
"Yeah, been rough for a while." Ryan reaches into his pocket and pulls out a business card. "Ryan, listen.
I know what it's like.
I've been where you are. But someone gave me a chance, and now I want to do the same for you." Kevin looks at the card. Daniel Sinclair, CEO. His eyes widen.
"Kevin."
"You know this guy?" "Ryan."
"Yeah."
"He helped me when I had nothing. And if you're willing to take a chance on yourself, I'll help you too." For the first time, Kevin sits up a little straighter, a flicker of hope in his eyes.
Int.
Daniel's office. The next day. Daniel sits at his desk, smiling as Ryan walks in. "Daniel, To what do I owe the visit? Ryan places the business card on Daniel's desk. Ryan, I met someone. Someone like I used to be. I want to help him, just like you helped me. Daniel studies Ryan for a moment before nodding. Daniel, then let's make it happen. Ryan exhales, feeling an overwhelming sense of purpose. His journey had come full circle. Once he was the one who needed saving. Now he was the one offering a lifeline. And this was just the beginning.